So here we have Caroline, who's been working with us now just over 3 months, isn't it, Caroline?
I think so, yeah. I'm not.
Just over 3 months. We're going into our 4th month. And you came to me with some just not feeling great, just not feeling yourself. Would that be true to say?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think it was a bit of a combination of coming out of this first lockdown and just feeling maybe a little bit lost with that, feeling that I thought I kind of understood food and I thought I knew what made my body feel quite good, but then just having really bad energy, just not being able to maintain a positive energy, and just feeling lots of ups and downs. But also, I think just not having a good relationship with food.
Yeah.
I thought I did, but actually, when I was going back to working, I would probably spend days just not really eating, and I'd eat in the morning and eat at night time. And I'd be so busy that I wouldn't prioritize food.
Yeah.
And the food I was eating would probably be really high sugar because it would be something like a smoothie or something which I thought was healthy, but just not really maintaining enough energy to keep me going.
Sure.
And I literally just felt like I was surviving one day to the next, but not really feeling strong from it, just being pretty exhausted. And I think coming out of the first lockdown, I just wanted to feel like I could come back into the world, and I just wanted to be stronger and feel that I was going to benefit somehow from all of that lockdown and what's been going on. And
Yeah,
that,
absolutely.
I just wanted to be strong,
Yeah.
mentally and physically.
Yeah, sure. What
yeah.
kind of stuff had you done in the past then, Caroline? What had you tried?
So we've got a dog, so I do little bits of walking. I really enjoy cycling, and I do a bit kayaking, paddleboarding. So we're quite an active family, but sometimes it would be almost a bit of a burden. I'd feel like I had to do it.
Yeah.
And I have to get the kids out because I have to get the kids to enjoy what it feels like. But sometimes it was a bit of a struggle. It wasn't always easy to do it. On a sunny day, when you've got loads of hours, it'd be really easy. But trying to fit it into your weekly routine, I would just let things slide. And in the past, I've done loads of yoga. But again, I'd be thinking, I've got to do a full hour session and I can't fit that in. I've got other things that prioritise. So I think I was coming from a bit of a mixed bag because I know I feel really good from doing it, but just not always been able to prioritise the time to do it.
So you didn't really have, I suppose you didn't have that structure because obviously you're busy. You have a business, you've got a family. I suppose it can be quite difficult to know how to structure that. Would be that fair to say? Yeah,
definitely, absolutely. And that's, I think, I wasn't aware until starting working with you that was what I was desperately struggling with. Just having clarity and also something about allowing myself time to do that. Because when you're really busy, which sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But when you're really busy, you're just grabbing every single minute, but maybe you're being so busy, you're not actually being very productive.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And do you think that that structure was with your nutrition as well, like with food and not having that structure in place?
Definitely. And also what I found interesting right from the very beginning of talking to you was just what I ate when I ate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think initially, just changing my breakfasts and just realizing that more protein and lots of fat in the morning absolutely works.
Yeah. More energy for longer. Yeah. I think a lot of people have this idea that you have to train a specific way to get results, or you have to eat a specific way to get results. And it's we just have to find what works for you, what structure works for you as an individual, and we roll with that, we run with that. And that's very refreshing for people, isn't it? Because then you're not having to try and make yourself do something, you're doing what makes you feel good,
Yeah, definitely. And I think also what really attracted me to getting in touch with you in the beginning was that I got the impression that you looked at the whole of life and you do tailor-make things for people and individuals. But I think working with you absolutely do that. And it's 100% of how you work.
Really?
And that really works for me because I'm not going to be someone who goes to the gym. That's not, at the moment, that's not on my radar. So for you to be able to come up with different, plans on how to train, but also you don't make it scary. I don't feel like I'm going to have to become some athlete, that I'm going to have to be in some kind of, I don't know, some amazing shows or parade around, or, this is all about well-being and all about mental health and physical health, and
yeah.
fitting it into your weekly structure.
Absolutely.
And making it work.
I think like people miss that, don't they? They miss you have to address stress, you have to address sleep, you have to address your well-being for all these other things, for you to be able to be active, for you able to make good decisions with food. And I think that's probably one of the areas that a lot of people just overlook. They overlook not thinking, well, what's my sleep like? Or shall I, create some time to have a nice hot bath and relax and chill out? Because those things really, really matter,
absolutely.
But I think also like these conversations that we have on a week-to-week basis are like priceless, because that's how we change things. That's how we maintain things and keep that focus, on a week.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And I know there was one week that we missed chatting, and I kind of felt like, oh yeah, it's okay, I'm kind of bumbling along, I've got guidelines, I've got structure, I know what I'm doing. But it wasn't until we chatted a few days later that I realized and totally at that point valued just how important these chats are, because I think you pick up on things that we might just be taking for granted. And just seeing things as, I don't know, you see it for what it is. Sometimes when you're in it, you don't always see it for what it is.
But I think that's the priceless thing with coaching, like for someone to have that outside view, because you can get all consumed with it, can't you? And you think, well, I think I'm doing all right, or I'm doing this or doing that, and I'm not making any progress. But if you've got someone like me saying, no, Caroline, you're okay, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, and give you that reassurance and that focus, But no, that's great. I mean, so what kind of changes physically, but also very importantly, like mentally as well, like well-being wise, what are the changes that you've seen over the weeks?
So I think definitely having a structure for food really works. It just means that the week it just kind of flows with food. So you've just permanently got that backup, so you're not reaching and going for or if you do reach for something that perhaps before I would have used it as something to sustain me, it would just be like a tiny little bit of, I remember that, let's just try it, I really enjoyed that, but I'm not using it as a dependent kind of thing. So I think that's a massive difference. But also clothes wise, definitely dropped a dress size. And I just feel that my body's just so much stronger. I feel that I've got muscle tone now, and I feel that my walks now turn into jogs, and I've never wanted to be a jogger, but I just feel that I've got that energy and I just want to use it. And I feel that I look at steps now on my watch, and before I would have been obsessed about looking, and I would have been, and now I just see it as a bit of a reassurance. Or if I am down, I'll really want to do something that in the following day or two. I just really want to change that, because I kind of feel like it's in me now to want to do that. Sleeping is so much better. I cannot tell you. Sleeping's improved tenfold. Mental clarity, hugely improved. And I think maybe I'm slightly more mature in the people that you work with, but I think the stage of life that I'm going through, sleep definitely gets affected. Mental clarity is affected pretty severely. And just how your body is feeling. But I just now, when I came to you, I felt quite weak, I think, mentally and physically. I probably wouldn't have admitted that at the time. I would have probably just said I was a bit everywhere. But now I can appreciate that I'm so much stronger. And I almost feel like I can compare my body to when I was in my mid-20s.
Wow.
And that's like 20 years ago, but I just feel that strong and just...
That's fantastic.
And I think I don't rush the same. I don't rush around the same. I feel maybe am I a little bit more productive? I hope I am. I hope I am.
Good. So it's definitely like that 360 change, isn't it? Just the physical aspect and the well-being aspect then. Yeah,
definitely. And I think ultimately I now know that I don't have to do a training session for an hour, because actually quarter of an hour, within minutes my heart has completely changed, my body is changing, and I know now within 15 minutes I can achieve something which to me feels pretty phenomenal. And before I would have just had a mental block that it'll take me hours to get to that stage. So it's really changed. And I think also, John, that working with you for a couple of weeks, I wouldn't have learned that. I think by maintaining it, and like you say, having the weekly chats, having the catch-ups, really makes you look at it and you question us a lot.
Yeah,
You ask us, what has been a good thing of this week? What have you learned? What have you changed? What habits are you implementing? So you're constantly just reassuring us that you're making progress.
Yeah, sure. It's a journey, isn't it? Like, and that's what people, I think, have got to realize. It's not a sprint. It is a journey. And like, I know some weeks I'll say to you, like, everything seems really good, Caroline. Like, let's just keep doing what we're doing. And then another week it might be like, okay, let's change a few things, see how this feels. You know, so you're always kind of like ebbing and flowing. It's not a straight line, is it, towards where you want to be? You know.
Definitely, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
So, brilliant. And I mean, what would you say to anyone thinking about, you know, anyone that's sitting on the fence thinking about doing anything with the Strong Life Club? Or because I get a lot of people that kind of have this notion and think that they have to be fitter before they can start, or they have to be eating pretty well before they can start. You know, what would you say to anyone sitting on the fence?
Don't sit on the fence, just embrace it. And it doesn't, I really honestly believe it wouldn't matter where they're coming from. If they've never done any form of exercise in their life, if mentally they're at a pretty low place, food, they're maybe not, you know, maybe there's room for improvement. John, you provide all of that. Brilliant. It's almost like I kind of thought I had a little bit of an understanding, but you've blasted that out of the water, and you've really challenged me. And people don't have to come in with any information, because that's what you do. That's your job. Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's probably almost easier for them to just come in and work out what works and what doesn't work. Yeah, absolutely. But I would say don't sit on the fence, just embrace it, and it'll be, those few months of their life will change their entire future, and it'll change their whole headspace, physically, mentally. Absolutely embrace it. And as far as money's concerned, because obviously that has to be a contributor, I would just say it's an investment in your whole future. Because I really see, John, I love your title, the Strong Life Club, and that's exactly what you are. And I wouldn't describe you as a personal trainer, because I think you're a whole life coach. And to me, that's a solid foundation for anyone. That's great. Definitely. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Caroline. I'm so chuffed with, the progress we've made and how you feel, and also the positive impact it's had on your family as well, which is just great.
Absolutely. In fact, Rosie's just come in now to say hi to you.
Hi, Rosie.
Say hi.
Hey. Hope you're going for a swim.
Yeah. You going to go for a swim today, Rosie? A bit cold.
Bit cold.
But I'm so grateful, John, for everything. I'm really, really grateful. I'm so happy the way that the future, I'm looking forward to embracing it all. It's great. 50s, 60s, 70s, they're going to be a breeze now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Brilliant. Cheers, Caroline.
Thanks, John. Okay. Bye-bye then.
Cool, Caroline.